Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Ministry of the Interior approves 107 election centers to conduct elections of Shura Council members for the 8th term. To face energy crisis fluctuations, the Ministry of Oil and Gas announces continuation of the current production levels. And the tourism sector contributes 3% in national products by end of the current year. Good evening once again, and thank you for joining us. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has received a cable of thanks from His Excellency Kim Jong-un, First Secretary of the Workers' Party, First Chairman of the National Defense Commission of the People's Democratic Republic of Korea, Supreme Commander of the Korean People's Army, in reply to His Majesty's cable of greetings on the 67th anniversary of establishment of the People's Democratic Republic of Korea. His Excellency Sayyid Hamoud bin Faisal Al Busaidi, Minister of Interior, met with Honorable Sheikh Khalid bin Rashid Al Manwari, Vice Chairman of the Supreme Court and Head of Higher Committee for Election of Shura Council members for the 8th term, along with members of the committee within the preparations for the election. The meeting came within the preparations for the which will be held on the 25th of October. The Minister valued the role of Higher Committee in exercising its supervising and monitoring tasks. The Ministry of Interior has approved 107 election centers in the Wilaya of the Sultanate to conduct elections of the Shura Council members for the 8th term. The centers are located in line with demographic concentration to facilitate the voters to reach to them. Preparations are underway to equip these centers with technological systems and organizational requirements to make the election process at ease. Separate entries and exits are allocated for women and men in the joint centers. Administrative, organizational, and security procedures are strengthened to achieve high level of organization. Despite fluctuations in oil prices in global markets, there is no tendency at the Ministry of Oil and Gas to decrease the current oil production levels. This was stressed by His Excellency Salim bin Nasser Al Aufi and the Secretary of the Ministry of Oil and Gas, who also revealed that the Ministry is reviewing the production operations and monitoring operational processes for companies working in the field of oil in the Sultanate. He also said that the fuel filling stations stock at the border areas were consumed in a short period of time, adding that this does not mean that these stations will be provided with more quantities of fuel in reference to fuel shortage there. Petroleum Development Oman PDO company signed 18 agreements with civil associations and establishments. According to the agreements, PDO is committed to contribute in funding activities of a number of civil and vocational associations and establishments during the upcoming 15 months. The signing ceremony was presided over by His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed bin Saeed Al Kelbani, Minister of Social Development, who said that such initiative will encourage companies working in the Sultanate to undertake their role with regards to social responsibility. The signing came on the sideline of the launch of a better initiative that gives the opportunity for PDO's employees to volunteer to help some segments of the society. In a statement to the Sultanate of Oman Radio and Television, Mr. Raoul Restrucci, Chief Executive Officer of Petroleum Development Oman, had this to say.
We're very excited about today. Basically, we recognize that PDO will not succeed unless the communities in which we work succeed. So today is a demonstration of how we help those communities. We signed 18 MOUs, memorandums of understandings, to work better together to support a number of NGOs, from Dar al-Atta to the Oman Cancer Association, the Early Intervention for Children with Disabilities, Down Syndrome, the Environmental Society of Oman, and so many more programs that allow our volunteers to help those communities. So we stay the course. Obviously, we're working, tightening our belts, trying to find cost-saving opportunities, working better together with the contractor community to find more efficient ways of working. But our activities remain strong, our production remains strong, and we'll continue to do our best to deliver on our promises to the Minister of Oil and Gas and to the community in Oman.
On behalf of PDO, I'm actually working with the Association of Early Intervention for Children with Disability. The initiative started with the Badr program, and it has been one of the best experiences of our lives working with this program. And we've been working with the center for some time now. In such a short period, we were able to achieve a lot of things, and we are still having ongoing projects for this program, and we're looking forward for reaching our milestones. Our main goal is to help the center grow and as well as help the children.
That was Fateh bin Salim Al-Aisiriya from PDO. On an area of around 3,100 square meters, Six Senses Club at Al Bustan Palace Hotel is another addition to the series of tourism facilities in the Sultanate. The Minister of Tourism stressed in a press conference that shed light on the new facility that the tourism sector will contribute to the gross domestic product by 2.8% by the end of the current year. The club includes 17 rooms to provide various treatments in addition to other facilities. Tourism projects will be established as planned in the 9th five-year plan development and will not be affected by oil prices decline. This was stressed by Her Excellency Maytha bint Saif Al Mahrouqiya and the Secretary of the Ministry of Tourism in a statement to the Sultanate of Oman Radio and Television. She also said these projects will be implemented in a partnership between the government and public sector. She added that the several tourism projects had been announced recently with investments from public sector pension funds and the Sultanate's investment funds. The Ministry of Manpower signed 2 agreements to employ and train 35 citizens in a vocational program out of the Sultanate in the field of ammunition and arms industry in France, Czech Republic and Pakistan. The first agreement is meant to train and recruit 20 holders of general education diploma for ammunition machinery operator job. The second agreement is to recruit 15 holders of diploma certificates in electricity and mechanics for ammunition technical job. The agreements were signed by His Excellency Sheikh Abdullah bin Nasser Al-Bakri, Minister of Manpower, and His Excellency Mohammed bin Nasser Al-Rasbi, Secretary General of the Ministry of Defense, Head of Board of Directors of Omani Company for Ammunition Industry. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and still to come in our news bulletin. Now, a 77-year-old widower, a South African apartheid minister, seeks redemption from his past by opening his house as a refuge for the vulnerable. Welcome to the Sultanate of Oman television. With the aim of improving skills of dealing with international media means, works of the training program Skills of Dealing with Media Means started today. 22 employees from media and public relations departments from various governorate establishments are taking part in the program that is organized by the Ministry of Information. The launching of the program activities was held under the auspices of His Excellency Dr. Abdul Mun'im bin Mansour Al-Hsani, Minister of Information, with the attendance of a number of their excellencies and the secretaries of the ministries participating in the program. To acquaint with the role of research projects span management of budget projects, writing scientific researches and their publication in global periodicals topics of the workshop organized by the Research Council to train researchers on the latest scientific methods used to write research proposals. More than 90 male and female researchers from various scientific institutions in the Sultan attended the workshop, which was conducted by 5 experts in scientific research field from the United States and the Sultanate. The joint committee between the Minister of Commerce and Industry and Sultan Qaboos University discussed a proposal of setting up a technical cooperation program between Director General for Standards and Metrology and the university in the field of specification, matching, measurements and tests. This came during the 6th meeting of the committee, through which it discussed a number of issues related to mineral sector, including studying rocks to know its reserve quantities, attributes and minerals available in it, in addition to rare earth elements and places of their existence. To encourage affiliates of the Sultan's armed forces to engage in entrepreneurship at small and medium-sized enterprises, Staff Command of the Sultan's armed forces organized a program on entrepreneurship in cooperation with Authority for Small and Medium Enterprises Development and the Fund for Developing Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises. The program consists of a joint initiative aimed to develop SMEs through benefiting from military and administrative experiences enjoyed by many years retirees. Health indicators showed that the rate of breast cancer cases reached 24% of the total cancer cases among women in the Sultanate. This came during the launch ceremony of Early Diagnosis Service for Breast Cancer in Health Establishments in the Governorate of Dakhliya. The launch ceremony shed light on the dangers of this disease and its spread and the importance of raising awareness on ways of prevention. With the attendance of 64 participants, Sultan Qaboos Supreme Council for Culture and Sciences organized initial sortings for the 25th Sultan Qaboos competition for Holy Quran in the Wilayah of Ibra in the Governorate of North Sharqiya. The competition aims at encouraging Omani youth to save Holy Quran working according to his rules, along with strengthening the Sultanate's attendance in international Quran competitions. Adrian Vlok was one of the South Africa's most feared and ruthless apartheid-era ministers, but 21 years after the country's elected Nelson Mandela as its first black president, the 77-year-old grandfather says he is a changed man. More details in the following report.
Twice a week, a 77-year-old grandfather drives his pickup truck into a black township outside of South Africa's capital, Pretoria, and hands out food to the poor. But Adrian Vlok is no ordinary grandfather. In charge of law and order in the dying days of apartheid, Vlok was one of South Africa's most feared and ruthless ministers.
Well, you know, we were there. It was our job to do and to make people fear us, because, you know, we were fighting, at that time we called them terrorists, and they were fighting and coming for us.
In 1997, Vlok, who admits he was once a racist, testified to South Africa's Truth and Reconciliation Commission about his role in violent acts committed by the apartheid government. One of his confessions was of his role in the attempted assassination of Reverend Frank Chikani, an influential anti-apartheid leader. Years into the new democracy, Vlok arrived at Chikani's office in the Union buildings and asked if he could wash his feet.
That was the ultimate humiliation for me, a white minister in cabinet, in the white cabinet, the National Party cabinet, to stand on my knees in front of a black person. But that changed my whole outlook. Since that day, color doesn't matter, because he is a creation of God, and I am a creation of God. And who am I now to think that I'm better than he? So that changed my whole outlook.
Now, 21 years after South Africa elected Nelson Mandela as its first black president, the former minister says he is a changed man. He shares his house with a young black entrepreneur. a homeless family, and an ex-convict who he has helped to get back on his feet. Moses Nemakonde, who reupholsters furniture from the driveway of Flok's house, says without the former minister's help, he would never have made his business a success.
My clients used to ask, who is the owner of these premises? Then I started to ask him, what is your name? Then he said to me, I'm Adrian. Then I told the client, look, this place is for the Adrian Flok. And then that's where I realized that he was the former politician, Minister of Police and all the stuff. But before, I didn't know anything.
Flok has urged his former colleagues to come forward and apologize for their actions. But so far, he is the only apartheid-era minister to have asked his victims for their forgiveness.
And now for the general weather forecast. Clear skies will prevail over the southern with cloud accumulation over Hajar Mountains with chances of rain and fog over parts of the governorates of South Sharqiya and Al-Wusta. Winds will be northeasterly light to moderate along the coast of Sea of Oman, while it will be southerly to southeasterly light to moderate along the rest of the Sultanate. Seas along the coast will be slight to moderate with a maximum wave height of 1.25 meters. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and now before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Ministry of the Interior approves 107 election centres to conduct elections of Shura Council members for the 8th term. To face energy crisis fluctuations, the Minister of Oil and Gas announces continuation of the current production levels. And tourism sector contributes 3% in national products by end of the current year. With that, we conclude this news bulletin. From all of us here in the studio and newsroom, it's good night.